Our planet wasn't always blue and alive. Once Earth was chaos oceans of fire, skies filled with poison, and constant asteroid bombardments. Yet somehow, out of all that destruction, came oceans, life, and eventually, us. So how did all that mess turn into the paradise we see today? Let's go back to the very beginning. When our solar system was just a baby, all of the planets were hot, molten messes. Earth was no different. But as time went on, it began to cool, and a solid crust formed on its surface. The air was thick with water vapor and other gases. At this point, the young Earth was almost unrecognizable. Constant lightning storms, toxic air, and a sky that was orange and thick. If you stood there, you wouldn't even see blue sky, just a haze of gas and ash. There were also tons of asteroids and meteorites flying around, which caused massive volcanic eruptions. These eruptions released gases and water vapor into the atmosphere. And after millions of years of volcanic activity, the water vapor in the atmosphere condensed, and it rained for thousands of years. Imagine the sound. Rain pouring down for millennia. Nitrogen breaks. Oh sun. Just endless storms. This rain slowly carved out the first valleys and basins that would become our oceans. All of this water filled up the low-lying areas, and eventually, Earth had oceans. Around this time, life began to emerge in the oceans. First, there were single-cell organisms, and after hundreds of millions of years, they were joined by multi-cell organisms like jellyfish and worms. These early creatures were tiny, fragile, and mostly invisible to the naked eye. Yet they changed the planet forever. How? Through photosynthesis. They began releasing oxygen into the atmosphere, and over time, this oxygen made Earth breathable for all future life. After another 200 million years, fish evolved, and after another 100 million years, they were joined by amphibians. Forests began to cover the land, insects filled the skies, and for the first time, Earth looked alive. It was a planet full of green, blue, and the roars of animals. Once amphibians evolved, they moved onto land, and eventually, so did reptiles. But while all of this was happening, Earth's tilt and orbit were slowly changing. Earth was gradually getting further and further away from the sun, which caused ice caps to form at the poles. The further Earth moved away from the sun, the more ice built up, and eventually an ice age began. Most of the world became covered in ice, and the only areas that were not covered were the tops of some mountains. On these mountains, the last remnants of forests and grasslands stood. This period is sometimes called Snowball Earth. If you looked at our planet from space back then, wouldn't it look blue or green at AL, just a giant white frozen ball floating in space? Then something odd happened. A small asteroid or comet slammed into Earth, melting the ice caps and ending the ice age. This gave way to another period of rapid evolution. Mammals began to dominate, and after millions of years, they were joined by birds. These creatures adapted fast. Mammals developed fur to survive cold, and birds took to the skies. Earth was now full of diversity, from giant dinosaurs to tiny mammals hiding in the shadows. But once again, Earth's tilt and orbit changed. This time, Earth was getting closer and closer to the sun. As it got closer, the climate began to warm, and the ice caps melted once again. But unlike the last time, this caused sea levels to rise so much that most of the continents were underwater. Only the tallest mountain ranges, including the Himalayas, Andes, and Alps, were above water. Imagine the Earth back then, almost entirely covered by oceans, with only islands and mountain peaks sticking out like lonely sentinels. Life was forced to adapt, yet again. Over millions of years, sea levels fell, and the continents were exposed once again. Plants and animals began to repopulate the land. But this time it was different. Instead of starting from single-cell organisms, the descendants of the species that had survived in the oceans during the last ice age quickly diversified and dominated the planet. Humans evolved, and according to many traditions and religious, God created Adam and Eve, the first humans. It is from them that humanity began, spreading across the earth,
building civilizations, and learning to shape the planet in ways no other species had ever done. This story, whether taken literally or symbolically, reminds us of the origins of human life and the beginning of our culture, society, and moral understanding. And here we are today, wondering how we ended up in this mess.
Do you think we could ever get to a point where we restore Earth to its natural state? If so, what would that look like? Let us know your thoughts. This is our channel. We make videos about space and mysteries of our universe.
To watch the other videos in the series, click on the playlist in the top left corner. Like and subscribe for more.